Well, hey guys, welcome to Daily Bits. Now, I told you guys I wanted to talk about this the other day when I was talking about my stepdad and how much he means to me. I said I was going to talk about my dad, my real dad, my biological dad. Now, let me go ahead and preface this. I'm not trying to push him down or anything like that, but I do want to talk about some things that happened when I was younger and why my parents got a divorce and why that was hard on me, like back in the day. Now, it's not really easy to listen to. Kind of sucks just a little bit, but let's go ahead and talk about it. So, first and foremost, there's a lot of part of my family on both of my parents' sides that has problems with addiction. Addiction, that still stems from a mental health issue. It's one of those things, you gotta have it even though you don't want it, but you need it and you can't function without it. In this case, it'd be alcohol. I had an uncle who was an alcoholic who died a couple years ago. He would, like, if he needed alcohol, he would steal, or he would buy it, he would sell stuff, he would beg for money on the streets just to spend money on alcohol. He would just eat and drink alcohol all day long. And it sucks because my real dad, my biological dad, he drinks a lot. He's got a problem. He won't admit it. Says he's not a drunk, but I beg to differ. He's been in a hospital a couple times for an alcoholic stroke, which I didn't know that existed, but it does. He keeps continuing. We had interventions with him, and he'll still drink. He'll first part of the month he'd buy 2 or 3 30 packs or whatever of cheap nasty beer, and there's never a time that he's not buzzed for years, and he's still like that. Me and him don't talk as much as we used to. Whenever I was living with my brother, I seen him every weekend. But he kind of stopped calling me for some reason. I don't know why. But ever since I moved out, he just stopped calling me. So I was like, okay, I'm not calling you. He's been in and out of my life many times in years. My mom and my biological dad, they got divorced, and it was bad. It was a bad divorce. It was a bad relationship. A lot of fighting. Rather be physical or mental. Not mental, but verbal. What? It still counts. Mental. My dad's a bit of a narcissist and a manipulator. He's good at it. Very good at it. My whole life I was like, man, I never want to grow up to be like my real dad. I know me, I'm a kid at heart, and I like dumb things, and I've been in situations with relationships where I wouldn't leave them, or I would stay, and all this stuff. Stay in abusive relationships. My biological dad has a temper. Really bad temper. He doesn't care to scream and yell, make kind of threats to people, like especially his girlfriend or my mom at the time, which I've seen that happen. Death threats, and you name it. Lot of verbal harassment, like all the time. He's been kicked out of his home that he's in several times. Last time it happened was last year. And it all stems from his alcoholism. Now, he's probably going to be like, it's not true. It is true. It's true. It's what it is. He just has to grow up. Anyways, instead of helping him go back, what me and my brother ultimately did was helped him with a hotel to stay until, I guess, the state or whatever, they gave him an apartment, for low income, and he had to be on a list, and he finally got it. He had to stay, I was thinking 7 days at this He stayed at a hotel then at the Mission. So, we paid for it. And for some odd reason, it seems like it's our responsibility. Whenever something happens with my dad, some members of the family are like, "Oh, it's your responsibility. It's your dad." I'm like, well, it's your brother. We've been dealing with this our entire lives. There'd be times my dad would show up drunk, crying and screaming, begging to live with me, and I wasn't having it. I don't. Here's the thing. I don't want to be around an alcoholic. I don't want to be around the abuse. My dad is very racist, and when I say very racist, I mean real racist, like super racist. And that does. I'm ashamed of that. I'm ashamed of it. It's sexist. He doesn't have a filter. Okay, there's no filter. Racism all the time. Sexism. Says the nastiest things to people that and there's a word he says, and I'm not going to say it here because I don't want you guys to think different of me, but he says it all the time and it drives me crazy. He's been in multiple marriages. I've got a brother, a half brother, that I've only met a couple times. He's very successful. He's a nurse. And he happens to be homosexual, which that's fine. I don't care. But my real dad, on the other hand, he apparently has issues with it, and he doesn't want anything to do with people in that community. And he says the words I'm not even going to repeat here. I'm not going to repeat here because it's awful. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm really dogging on him, and I don't want to. There would be times my mom would be crying, just some of the things my dad did, abuse-wise. And, finally my mom couldn't take it anymore, and they finally got a divorce. And it was a nasty divorce. It was very nasty. My dad would try to manipulate us as kids. I was maybe 11 years old at the time, 10 or 11. I understood what was going on, but I didn't. And my dad would try to be like, "Oh, your mom's a piece of shit," and she's not. My mom is the most amazing person you'll ever meet in your entire life. One of the most hardworking people, loving people you will ever meet. She is one of my best friends, next to my wife. I do anything I can for my mom. And we ultimately stayed with her mom. And there was a time for a while where my dad wasn't there for us. I was in high school. Like, I didn't have hardly any relationship with him until probably my junior year in high school when he started finally coming around. And I don't know what happened with that, but like I said, we set him down for interventions and stuff like that, screaming matches. He's physically abusive. He used to be. Now, he won't admit it, but it's true. It's true. It's happened. I was spanked and stuff like that, and that's fine when you're a kid. Like back in the 90s, 87 to 90, like that was the thing. Your parents sometimes, if you step out of line, you get a smack on the ass. But yeah, I mean, my dad would sell our stuff, like, just for some reason. We would get stuff for Christmas, like a Super Nintendo or a Nintendo or a Sega, and it would get sold. They would sell it, and when you come home, it's like, "Hey, where's our thing?" It's like, "Oh, it was broken. I had to take it back," and it was sold. Basically, it was sold just for that. I blame a lot of my stuff. Like, I make I make a good living. I'm always broke though, and I blame a lot of myself because, I buy stupid stuff. Like, for some odd reason, I buy things that make me feel good, and it's kind of like a dopamine thing, and I continue buying things to fill that rush. And I kind of get that from my father because he would buy stupid shit. But I do have ideas for the stuff I am buying. The Pokemon cards is mainly an investment for me. I love Pokemon cards, and there's a reason why I collect them. but they're also an investment to me. But there's a lot of things I'm not going to tell you about my biological dad. That's very disturbing. I don't want you guys to know about it. It wasn't any type of sexual thing. It was just, there's some things that's happened that I don't think I am ready to tell you about because it's not good. I know my mom told me the day they got married, my grandpa was crying. And they was, he was going out with his, friends and stuff and drinking and all that stuff. Is what it is. It's terrible. Like, I hate the temperament part. It drives me crazy. Like, I don't know how you can sit there and yell and scream, make threats to your significant other. Like, I don't know how you could do that. With good conscience, do that. Was yelled at the kids, like, lied to. My dad is a habitual liar. Big time. Big time. He's not honest. And here's the thing. I'm just pointing out the things that bug me. That's always bugged me. And I wanted to talk about, to get it off my chest. There's some things I'm not going to tell you, but it's just, let's just say that it wasn't good. And I don't know, maybe we'll talk about it another time. Do I love my biological dad? Yeah, I do. He's still my biological dad. There's sometimes, like, there was a time where I didn't care if he lived or died. I didn't. I don't even think my biological dad's met his half-son in years. Like, he met him when he was born and stuff, but doesn't know anything about him. For the longest time, we stayed away because I thought my half-brother hated me because, what my dad did to that relationship. But it is what it is. I just want to tell you guys a little bit about him. If you have somebody in your life that's abusive, doesn't, like I said, doesn't have to be just physical. It could be many different things, but just be careful. Tread lightly. I've been treading lightly. Like, I don't let him, I'm so used to it, but I don't let him manipulate. There's times, let me get it, there are times when I feel sorry for him because, like I said, who wants their dad to be on the streets? Like, really? Who wants to live with that? And it makes you feel bad. And there was time I would hand out money, I would give him a place to stay, make food and all that stuff, and it would go back to the same old thing the next day. And, I try, like, I don't want to continue doing that. I'd love to have a steady relationship with my real dad. Love to. But sometimes it's not really feasible. He'll never change. There's some people that will never change. They never will. No matter what happens, they'll remain the same person until they die. And there's no changing that. No matter how many times you set them down and talk to them and tell them, hey, please stop doing this shit. Please just be normal, be civil, and all that stuff. I mean, it sucks. And I like, again, I feel like I'm dogging him, and I'm not trying to. I could be a whole lot dirty with it. I gotta be really mad at it because there's times where I absolutely hate him. And I've told him that. Like, there was times, like, I wanted to beat his fucking ass. Like, I've told him that. And, you can't, somebody that's already set in their ways, it's hard to really change them, especially when you've tried so many times. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Definitely appreciate it. I hope you subscribe, and I'll see you soon.